question this man is accused of.
Would you buy a used car from this man?
I would.
He doesn't even sound like Chevy Chase. Okay, this is Archie interviewing now. You just saw me a second ago, but I'm not on screen anymore. And I'm interviewing Don Gottesman.
Thank you, Mark.
Who just interviewed you.
Who just interviewed me, and now I can get him back.
Am I supposed to look into the red light? Is that the point?
Yeah, see, now I can see you looking exactly at the camera.
Okay. I should look at the red light.
Yeah, look at the red light. Okay, Don, just for a little background, where are you from? How did you get here?
Okay, I was born on April the 15th, 1953 in Detroit, Michigan.
When?
April 15th, 1953. April 15th is also the same date that President Lincoln died, the Titanic sunk, and it's tax day. And I made up for all those bad events. I was born on that day. After being born in Detroit, Michigan, I lived there.
How old were you when you were born?
I was 8 when I was born. I was a freak in that regard. So, after being born, I lived in Detroit for 4 years, and then my father, for some reasons which remain obscure to me, some people here can tell me, decided to move the entire family.
I'm not talking.
Because.
Decided to move the entire family to Southern California, Los Angeles, which is where I moved in 1957. And I've been in Southern California all my life, except I went to school in Northern California. And
where did you go to school?
I went to University of California at Berkeley during the days of the Vietnam War. And
were you in any protests or anything like that?
I did not participate, but I did get clubbed in the back and have a scar from a police officer who was not too nice.
Really?
I turned the wrong corner and saw 200 people charging at me.
Let's see it, Don.
Can we see the scar?
No. Because that would mean you could verify the story that way.
Your grandchildren would love to see the scar on your back.
No, we'll get to the porno part of this later. No, I turned the wrong corner and people were charging at me, and I decided to not get stampeded, so I began running in the same direction that they were running, and they were being followed by, not police, members of the National Guard who were trying to suppress a riot, and I just ended up getting clubbed. And after going to the University of California at Berkeley, I spent 1 year at college at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland.
Really?
That's true. And
Is that as true as the club on your back?
that is more true than the club on my back. And then I went to law school after that at the University of California in San Francisco called Hastings Law School.
And that's where all the old people teach.
That's true. There's something called the 65 Club. The professors have to be one step into the grave in order to teach there. And then
Well, that's good. They can't run very fast.
I moved to Los Angeles, and much to the dismay of my mother, began living with a Catholic girl.
For how long?
3 years.
That is a record in the Gottesman family, as we discussed this morning.
I don't know about that.
What was it?
And then
Nobody's lived with anybody for more than 3 years?
of a Catholic persuasion, I think is the record.
Oh. Who took the
Don,
survey?
congratulations.
Thank you very much,
What was
Marty.
that? I missed that.
That's okay. And I quit law for a while, became a journalist for about a year, and went back into law as a criminal attorney.
Did you write anything when you were a journalist?
Yes, I was working for a wire service,
What wire service?
an offshoot of UPI in San Francisco branch.
What kind of things were you writing?
I worked the midnight shift at the UPI desk there. I covered fires and murders and various things at 3 to 4 in the morning. It was not a great job. And then I decided, because I ran out of money, to go back into law, and now I'm a criminal attorney. And then I decided to meet the rest of my family at Mackinac Island, and that's where I am now. That's my life story in a capsule.
Rumor has it that you, I heard that you were a songwriter.
This, affirmative.
And how long have you been writing songs?
I've been writing songs since I was about 14 years old, and I have sold none so far.
And what do you do when you sell your first song?
What am I going to
do when you sell your first song? Oh, maybe you sold it by now. If this is being seen in the future, you might.
That's true.
Why don't you give us a rendition of one of your
No, thank
better
you. hopefully
Maybe
that
somebody who sees this will want to.
hopefully
publish it.
my children and grandchildren will be listening to my songs, and so I won't need to sing it for them now.
On the radio.
But suffice it to say that my main love in life is to write songs, not actually be an attorney, and that's what I hope to do. As a matter of fact, in 3 days from today, children, your great-grandfather will be in a recording studio.
Fantastic. You're going to put them on a record or send them out to the
No, I
recording companies?
some musicians are making a demo tape of my songs. I am not actually singing or playing on the tape, but I'm going to be
What
there.
instrument do you play?
They're all
Natalie?
playing
Just
your
the
music?
piano?
Yes, I will not have anything to do with it, but I'm going to be there to like sort of watch it and produce it.
They're playing your music and singing your songs and your
And
lyrics.
you're not doing anything.
Correct.
Well, that's
Why
pretty
don't you
loud.
just stay on that?
No, I want to be a songwriter. I really don't like performing or singing it
Oh,
myself.
so you just want to write the songs and have somebody else do them.
Like
Correct.
Barry, I write the songs and
The whole
You mean your face won't be on a record album cover or anything?
No,
Like Irving
True.
Berlin girls. It's
True.
not that unusual.
Oh, well, why don't you want to do the glamour? I mean, don't you enjoy being on TV right now? Wouldn't you want to enjoy
Answer
the
that,
glamour
why don't
of
you
being
tell
on
us
the...
It's a little uncomfortable. No, I just like to write songs.
Yes.
I don't like to sing them that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Mindy.
You won't mind when someone else is getting all the glory for the
No.
fantastic song that
No.
only you and a few people know you wrote?
Andrew.
What?
I don't mind.
Your mother's on
That's
the
very
phone.
humble of you.
Thank you,
Carl.
Marjorie.
Carl.
It's very humble of you to undertake this interview with me.
That's okay.
Do you want to ask me why I didn't shave this morning?
Why
Maybe-
didn't you shave this morning, Don?
I don't know. I just wanted to look
Got up too late.
grubby.
Wanted
A little
to see
bit
how
masculine.
clean you could get it to
It,
look
it looks a
around.
little. It looks a little bit macho.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sure everyone thinks so.
Do I have any pimples that show up on this?
No, not on the screen. It looks like
No.
Look
Okay.
good. Look
It
good.
looks fine.
Okay.
Uh, what other members of your family are here? And
I got all the members of my family are here. My father, Harvey, and Adele. That's not said right. My father, Harvey, and my mother, Adele.
Your mother's a pretty one, right?
My mother, yes, is a very beautiful woman.
Your father's not pretty. Your mother is pretty.
Affirmative. And
That's how I used to keep them.
keep them straight.
The mother is a pretty one.
And my brothers, Mark, Jim, and Bob, were somewhat odd.
why are they odd?
Well, my brother Mark is odd because he continually says, "I love her," and nobody knows what that means except for now Margie and myself and a few members of
Archie.
I did.
Oh, Margie.
Margie. Same thing.
Who's he referring to when he says
I
that?
know. He keeps saying Margie.
I have odd brothers. My brother Mark mimics people. When he hears a phrase he likes, like "I love her," which means I love her, which also means "How are you?" He mimics that to death
Fine,
to annoy
thank you.
people. And then my brother Jimmy's here. He's a urologist, also referred to as a pecker checker. And then my brother Bobby.
I'm sorry. I don't know if we can say that on film. Don't
He
forget your
checks
grandchildren are going to be seeing this.
He also works on women too. So.
Oh.
And my brother Jimmy has his 3 kids
How
who are
does
my
he work
nephews.
on other women? Wait a minute. No,
Well,
never mind.
He has his 3 kids who are my nephews. And then my brother Bobby is here with his wife Jane. And their kid is here too.
Their kid? What's their kid?
Their kid is Eric, also known
Ah.
as Erich.
Or Ism.
Or Rick.
Is that how it's spelled?
Or Ick,
Or
right.
Is it spelled
Depending
C-H?
on what you had
No,
in their
it's-
diaper at the time.
There's no, Mark calls him Erich because there's a cornerback in the year 1982 that plays for some professional football team named Eric, but pronounces his name Erich.
Oh.
That's
I
absurd.
understand.
And that's my family here. However, I guess everybody that's in the room right now is also my family, in a more extended sense.
We like to think so. Is there anything that you would like to say to, say, what would you like to tell people, knowing that this is so shown, 100, 200 years ago? What do you want to tell them that you know that
That might help
so-
them out in their life.
right.
Your
you're so
grandchildren
worldly and Few
I
words
would
of
say that they should all calm down and not be so nervous about life.
stop shaking. You say that.
And that they should accept with the good with the bad, and that
They're always ready to accept good.
that's true. That Paula Gottesman just said they're always ready to accept the good. That's true. They have to accept certain defeats or setbacks in their life. Let's see. And also, as Yogi Berra once said, good batting beats good pitching every time, and vice versa.
Batty. Good Batty.
Words of wisdom, I'm sure.
That's.
Anything else? I think I feel ready to end the interview unless you have like.
What do you think about girls?
Good question. Good question.
That'll be ours.
Girls come in different varieties. They're the current type that I'm dating or seeing, which my brother Mark refers to as scum lowlife. I'm trying to raise myself and see girls of a higher caliber.
Stop dating your clients.
Well, that's true. Now in 1982, I'm a public defender, incidentally, folks, and I represent rapists and muggers and people like that. Because in 1982, we felt that everybody was entitled to a fair trial. However, by the time you hear this, probably the policeman will be trying people on the streets and convicting them and shooting them in the back of the heads then. That's one prediction.
Or clubbing them.
Or clubbing them to death.
In the back?
In the back, yeah.
Well, I would say in the back. People from Michigan say in the back. That's a girl. So that's one type of girls. Other type of girls are they're very, very nice, good personalities, very intelligent, very pretty, but I haven't met them. And
Unless
then
they're your cousins.
no, and then the other category of women are my cousins, who are too perfect to describe. They're just beautiful human beings. That's what I think of women. But I can't. It's sort of I can't live with them, and I can't live with them. I would say.
You can. Well,
I like women though.
that's
Let's be brutally frank about it.
As long as they stay in their place, right?
Not as long. No, well, you have to. In 1982, there was a rash of homosexuality occurring on the West Coast, and I'd like to let it be known that Don Gottesman liked women.
You didn't catch that rash.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And this is,
Serious consequences.
who are you again now?
Oh, me? I'm
Yeah.
Terry Reed.
And I'm Sim Gottesman. How are we related, Terry?
Well, I married your sister, Mindy Gottesman.
Mindy Gottesman.
Mindy Reed,
okay.
yeah.
Mindy Gottesman Reed now. Isn't that how we're
Yes.
supposed to say that? And
Yeah.
and what is what,
Is it Gottesman or Gottesman?
God is man.
God is man.
Yes.
Man is
Okay.
man.
And how did you you come to find this family reunion?
I think it's fantastic. I think every family should do this. I wish my family would get together and do some fantastic occasion like this. It's coming along really good, having a lot of fun, and meeting a lot of people, and enjoying it very much.
Uh-oh. Help me think of another question. I'm not a very good interviewer.
Ask him
You
what his
said it.
favorite colors are.
Yeah, what's your favorite color?
I like-
What am I doing?
I like white.
You
White,
like
lots of white, yeah.
Lots of white.
Yeah.
I
I like beige too.
like beige. Really like those bright colors, huh?
Yes.
So out of all these relatives that you've met here, which one do you, no, that won't
hate the
work
most.
either. what some of the stranger people that you've met here?
I don't, no comment.
Yeah, you can't really answer that
No
question. I hope my dad gets out of the bathroom soon so he can say that's enough of this interview.
No. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
Archie, can you think of something else you want to
Ask
should
him
ask?
what advice you'd like to give to his grandchildren.
Yeah, what advice do you
great-grandchildren.
want to give your grandchildren? I mean, Dana will probably be at the next one.
That's a good question.
And, you know, Dana's going to be looking at this going, hey, that's Dad up there. What do you want to say to her?
Stop
Well,
it. Don't do that, Dana. Oh, sorry.
I just kind of wish I had somebody telling me right now some wisdom from the ages or giving me some advice. But there's not, so I know why now. It's hard to think of anything to say or if you should even. You know, let them figure out their own lives. Their problems will be different then a little bit, and they have a little different type of personality to deal with it. So there's not much I could say except for keep a positive outlook. And hopefully that gets you through the rough spots.
That should help Dana some, wouldn't you say?
I would say so.
So, Dana's going to be at the next reunion. How do you feel about
Definitely.
that?
Definitely at the next reunion. Because then by that time she should be able to afford her own airfare.
When do you think the next reunion should be?
I like the 5-year plan. I think Russia's done a lot with it. And I could use a nice vacation like this about every 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe every 2.
We were discussing 3. How does that sound? That's a pretty good compromise.
Three's kind of odd. That's all right.
It's an odd family.
3 years would be great. Maybe the other side of the country, so the other people wouldn't have to travel so far.
Which
I
is
don't
the other
know.
side of the country?
Well, there's the south, there's the west, and there's the east. I think we should have on the west coast.
I think it should be in the middle next time, like Indiana or
Oh,
something.
I think this is pretty middle.
I would like it to be in California during the month of January. I'd like that very much.
How about the Bahamas? We heard
Bahamas
that was
is
Yeah,
coming
that
around.
was great.
Let's lease a nice boat.
A nice boat. We're feeling like we've been walking in a boat anyway. All the floors here are slanted. How
Yes,
do
the
you feel
floor-
about that?
Well, it's the design of the
Tilted.
building. It's very nice architecture.
How did you meet Mindy?
Oh,
Good question.
yeah, good question. I'm really surprised I ever met her because it was just a fickle fate that we got together. And it was at a Halloween party, and Mindy just happened to come there. She wasn't supposed to. Her parents didn't know. And she came anyways, and was on a different side of town where she's never been. And I happened to be there at the same time where I usually don't go. And she was just probably getting ready to go to another party, and we just got together and decided we have to see each other more. And it started off that way.
Wow, you just
Well,
met
what
at
were
a
you
party?
dressed up as?
I was dressed up as a soldier from the Civil War time period. Captain, of course.
Did
Of
she look
course.
luscious when you first saw her?
Yeah, she was dressed as a gangster, and I should have known then. But, and a really nice pinstripe suit, dark, with I believe a nice wide brim hat on. And she looked very attractive, very cute.
Do you think that because she was born a Gottesman, you weren't, that she's too good for you? Or is she...
Do I think she's too good for me?
I think we'll leave it at that.
No. No, she's all right. She's all right. Her family's all right. Dad's here. Come on. Your
Hi,
family's
Terry.
great. Nice family. Back family, back.
Down boy. All right, did anyone ask Terry what he did for a living yet?
Oh, yes. Terry, what do you do for a living and how?
I work with a international insurance company, John Hancock. And I solicit and sell life insurance, mutual funds, and pension plans and things like that.
Anybody interested, call you at.
Yes, let me give you my number after the interview. Okay, any political questions or?
What do you-
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you know, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
Yes, you were
you
mentioning
think- what do you-
Russia before, and I would like to know what your view is on red china. Do you think it would look good on a blue tablecloth?
Do you
That's a
think
good
that
question.
do you think the country is taking politically a turn to the right now or left? Do you see any shifts? In
Yeah,
people?
definitely to the right.
There's a lot of shift in the White House right now.
And
Definitely.
Shiftless.
A lot of shift in the White House.
Do you think we've come a long way since the
A lot of
Vietnam
shift coming
turn to
out
the
of the
left?
White House.
Yes, we have since Nixon's, well, definitely we've come a long way. I think we're going right back to the era we were in before the Vietnam War happened.
Do you think it's good or bad?
I think it's good right now for the short term. It could be bad in the long term.
Do you think that before the turn of this century there's going to be a major war between any, like Russia or the United States?
Very possible.
I
don't
think a
think it'd
major
be-
war is better than a lieutenant war or a sergeant
Yes.
war.
I would agree, but let's
Maybe we'll
be
get too-
brutally frank.
Yes, let's be brutally
Do you
frank.
think we should all come and bivouac on Mackinac Island if the Russians
Yes, I've
come?
made reservations for the shelters. Next family reunion will be 6 feet underground.
Oh, God, I hope not. How
They're
about
dug up.
36 feet? That'd be-
36 feet
yeah.
might do. Well, we don't think about things like that. We're talking like there's a war around the corner, and there's not. Prosperity is just around
I
the corner.
won't stand for it.
No, we won't
I'll have
stand
nothing
for it.
to do with it. If we ignore it, maybe it'll go away.
No, things are on the up and up, and everything's looking nice, and everyone's getting along just great right now. And that's how it is, September 1st, 1982.
You had it?
Yes.
Say goodbye, Terry.
Goodbye, Terry.
It didn't work. Say goodbye again, Terry.
Say goodbye, Terry. Okay, we're here at the Grand Hotel, and I'm Terry Reed. I'm going to interview my wife, Mindy Reed. This is Bud's daughter.
Used to be Mindy Gottesman.
Yes, Bud's daughter of the Gottesman fame. And it so happens this happens to be a Gottesman reunion, so Mindy had to come. Mindy,
I didn't have to come.
oh, how do you like it here, Mindy?
Oh, I think it's really beautiful, and this is the best vacation I've had yet.
Great. Mindy, what happens if I didn't ask you any questions?
I would just sit here and smile.
We don't want that. Are your teeth cracked or?
I turned her over with good teeth. I don't know what they are now.
They're still good.
We're trying to
Still
upkeep
good?
them on a good
So how
dental
did you
plan.
wind up being?
Well, you look terrific.
That's Jerry Gottesman who just
Mindy.
walked in and gave Mindy a compliment.
Good, maybe he can interview me instead.
How about
Ask
it,
her
Jerry?
if
You
Who's,
wanna
who's
interview-
interviewing? You're interviewing your
You
daughter?
are.
No, you
No,
are.
Terry is.
Oh, Terry's
I need
interviewing.
you to ask some pertinent questions from.
Have you been
Mindy.
interviewed yet, Abby? Did you speak up?
She
What
certainly
do you
did.
Yeah.
think about the world situation as it stands now?
Which situation is that?
Well, like Dad said, red china on a blue tablecloth.
Why not?
Yeah, it works.
That's terrific.
So Mindy, I heard you love animals, and you want to go ride the horses in a matter of another half hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they have horse trails all around this island.
yeah.
What else do they have on this island? We had a little cartoon about it in our packet.
Yes, lots of that too.
It's something to do with
That's the leftover fuel.
leftover fuel. It's too
Yeah.
bad. We should try and figure out a way to use that, right?
Sure.
Have any ideas?
No.
Move
So
over. Watch
have they
that
been
little
feeding
red
you
bird
well
up
here,
there.
Mindy?
Have I eaten well?
You've been
Yes.
very hungry these past few days.
very
Could you
hungry.
explain why?
This the food here, there's just not enough. There should be more food.
More food.
Yeah.
But you feel stuffed though, right?
No,
Why is that?
I'm starving.
Comes the Gottesman
And what else do we know about the dress code here in the hotel? I know you're very pleased with the dress code here.
Oh, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, no one's mentioned that yet, so I
Yeah.
think
Well,
we
why
ought
don't
to-
you talk about it? How
put it
you
on
came
record.
down in your cut-off blue jeans and.
I didn't. No, that wasn't me.
Oh. Oh, that was somebody else, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what happened, Mindy? Tell us about the dress code here.
You
Do you think
must.
that should be a priority with the Gottesman family reunion?
Yeah, I think that it's a nice thing, and it puts a good look onto everyone, and makes us all look more presentable.
Having to wear these little. I'm supposed to put on.
I don't know.
You know, Mindy,
You
Dana,
lost
your
me somewhere.
daughter, will be watching this one day.
Yes, I'm sure that she will.
What words would you have to say to her right now if she was here?
Just keep a clear perspective on life.
And you think your daughter will be able to thrash away through this world with that bit of knowledge? Huh?
I hope that she will. She'll gain knowledge from other places than just from me.
Do you miss her now?
Of course.
Of course. What do you miss
Do you
about
miss her?
Yes. What do you
Okay.
miss about her?
Oh, I miss her crying and screaming and. No,
you-
she's. Did I?
Did you buy her any gifts?
Yeah, I bought her a few things.
I mean, her mother went to Mackinac Island. What is she going to bring back for her?
I bought her a few things, and I'm gonna get her a few more.
Do they have sweatshirts that say, my mother went to Mackinac Island and only brought me back this lousy t-shirt?
No, I have not seen any of those yet.
Look up.
Yes, you have to remember
So-
to look at that camera.
Yes, Mindy.
Doesn't. You should put a little doll there, like they have. When you take your school pictures, they hang little dolls from the camera so that you laugh.
I forgot to bring my doll with me.
Did you like school, Mindy?
Did I like school? Yeah, school's all right. I think school's important.
You were a good student, weren't you?
No, I just slid by. I made it through and I graduated. That's all that's important.
Did you want to go to college or anything?
Well, I had signed up for college and had my tuition paid for the year, and you came along, and I decided to marry you instead.
So it costs about the same as a year of college, huh?
I don't know about
You
that.
probably learned as much, though, right?
Probably, yes.
So what are your sisters doing right now? Where's Nikki?
Nikki's probably working at the hotel in Florida, and Kim is probably going to school and working at the hospital in Detroit. and Sim sticks needles in people.
How's that?
How's that? Well, you'll have to ask her.
Do you think that there's any way that Nikki and Kim are not going to be at the next family reunion?
I sure hope not.
If we have anything to say about it, they're going to be here
Definitely.
with their prospective spouses,
Yes.
if spouse or spouses.
What do you think the next family reunion should be?
Should be. Oh, I'd like to keep the tradition and keep it the same place.
Time after
That's
time.
a good thought.
Keep the tradition.
I like the idea of the Bahamas in February, though.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yes.
So, what is your claim to fame, Mindy?
My claim to fame, I really don't think that I have any other than my daughter.
What are you going to be when you grow up?
I have grown up.
You have arrived.
You do have a claim to fame. You are the world's best animal salesman.
I was
Well,
at a time.
that's a claim to fame.
But I don't think that's a claim to fame.
Oh,
It's just part of a job.
But you do your job well. When you
Yes.
have a job to do, you do it.
Yes, that's true.
That's a Gottesman trait.
And how do you like this family reunion, Mindy?
I think this family reunion is one of the greatest things that I've seen and done.
Do you think there's enough people that attended?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a part of the family that I've never seen before, and it was kind of hard to really know my family without ever seeing them. And now that I've seen them, I can say that I have a very large family, and I know who they all are.
You like them?
Of course. How can you not like your family?
It's
I mean,
easy.
you're not allowed to anyway.
What
Maybe
would
we
With
should
a lot
watching
of
this
families,
again.
it's very easy to dislike them.
This is
But-
true.
We don't have a bad one in the family.
No.
Nobody's in prison right now.
No, they're all
No,
out.
I.
Don't need to listen.
Well, I'm glad at least I got to leave home with that information.
And I also taught you that two can eat as cheaply as one, a horse and a sparrow.
Why am I sitting here on camera with all these jokes going back and forth?
Trying to get you to laugh, Mindy.
Oh, finally we did
We're
it.
telling Mindy jokes she won't laugh.
Oh, she's all stone-faced.
Yeah.
Well, now Mindy's mother just walked in, Elaine, and she's going to try to ask Mindy some pertinent questions.
Yes, ask her a pertinent question, Mom.
Yes.
How
now-
much is it to go horseback riding?
$10 an hour, and $8 every hour after that.
How long are we going?
Probably just an hour. That's
It's the
about all we'll
minimum.
be able to handle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think
Remember,
maybe,
we want to walk tomorrow. We want to have to be able to move from the bed to the toilet and stuff like that.
I have you to carry me, honey. I'm not that.
Okay.
Aren't they cute, boys and girls?
I went riding yesterday, and I can walk today.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, we're gonna go
Okay.
riding again.
You're not even sore, Mindy? Or
No.
you have a thick rump?
Well, it's not as thick as I thought it was.
You have to learn something new every day.
So
I
you've been
think Mom
active
just
here,
closed
Mindy?
herself in the closet.
I hope there's a doorknob on the other
Have you
side.
been active since you've been here?
Active? Yes, more active than I've been in a long time.
Yes, I think I've seen you doing more exercise than ever before.
Okay.
There is one thing I'd like to say.
Yes, please.
Everyone on this trip, when we were doing our competition yesterday in the tennis courts, everybody was asking who won, and I think what's important is that all of us have won.
That's very good. Very good. Say goodbye, Mindy.
Goodbye, Mindy.
We now have Jerry Gottesman on the hot seat. We're going to hear his political views on the situation in Lebanon, or whatever he cares to talk about. Jerry, your father was who now?
Joe Gottesman.
one of the famous Gottesman brothers.
He was one of the famous Gottesman brothers. I guess next to Phil, he was the youngest Gottesman brother, as a matter of fact.
No, Joe was younger than Bill.
He was, next to Phil, he was the youngest. No? Right.
No, it was Harry,
Bill,
Bill, and Joe.
Joe.
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
then Phil.
Yeah, okay. You're right. So, I'm getting punchy, I think.
Did you interview Morton?
Not yet. And Alice, too, yet.
Did you get Harry Kirstein yet?
Last night.
Oh, you got him.
I,
Oh, last
I was
night.
able to use a lot of the first part of that.
Did you cut it off?
Keep it in. Yeah, we're interviewing, we're going over that tape right now.
Excuse me for interrupting. I'll see you. I'm going riding.
Okay, have fun.
Enjoy. I'm taking your wife with me.
Are you?
Paul and I are going riding
Huh.
with your daughters and my
That's
daughters.
fine, good.
Our daughters.
Okay, see you later.
Okay, this is a tape that's going to be shown at the next reunion, hopefully.
What did you
And
do with the tape from last
many-
night? Did you erase part of it?
We're erasing it right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Harvey requested that it be erased?
Yes.
Oh, let's see.
I think it was a unilateral or multilateral decision, and the best decision.
Mhm.
We kept the first part of it, which was very good, and the latter part is now destroyed forever and ever, like the Nixon tapes.
Right, right. And Harvey didn't even have to burn it.
No, didn't even have to get a secretary to erase it.
Right.
We did it for him.
Hmm.
Okay, so tell us a little about what you do for a living and why.
We live in New Jersey,
Okay.
and we live in Morristown, New Jersey now. And I'm married to Paula, and have 4 children, who I guess you've already interviewed.
Well, we've interviewed 3 of them.
Okay. And the 4th, of course, is Sally, who is in
Israel.
Israel now.
This
And I am in business with my brother Harold, and we operate parking lots and garages in New York City, Newark, and other areas, mostly in the East Coast. And we were very fortunate in that Joe Gottesman had his children very much in his mind and heart at all times, and he helped Harold and me get started in the parking business. And we've stayed in it ever since 1956. So what does that make it? This is 1982, so that's...
Well, it makes it a success is what it makes.
That makes it a long time.
Makes it a long time.
26 years.
26 years, right. Wow.
Our computer just spit out 26 years.
Thank you, Johnny. And so that's what I do for a living.
Okay, and what are your aspirations for the future?
My aspirations for the future are to attend the Gottesman reunion 25 years from now, which will make me 77 years old, and I should, God willing, I should be able to do that with as much clarity as Leah Gottesman did at this reunion, and then we'll hope for a few more after that. And my aspirations for the future are to see maybe the world have some peace, to see people healthy and happy, to see Israel prosper and grow, and to see my kids grow up and be useful people, and to vacation more myself with my wife.
Those are all very worthwhile things.
Did I cover enough ground there?
I don't think you left out a thing. Not a thing. What are your hobbies and interests?
Well, I'm a man without a hobby. I must say that I don't have too many vices, and I don't have any real hobbies other than my work.
Do you play tennis?
I play a little tennis,
That's a hobby.
and I try to pay some attention to my family, which at times is very difficult to do because of my work, which I find myself very much wrapped up in. And but other than
You also
that,
find yourself away from home a great deal of time, don't you?
well, a fair amount, but not that all fired much. But I work hard, and therefore I think I probably slighted my family some over the years. Maybe they would say a lot. On the other hand, I hope that they've learned some decent habits from me. And aside from that, why I'm interested, very interested in what goes on in the world, particularly in connection with Jewish affairs. I'm one of those people who happens to think that all matters of policy in the United States are governed by whether or not it's good for the Jews. I know it's not very fashionable to talk that way these days. It may have been more so when our fathers, when the Bill Joe generation was alive, because people were much more nervous about being Jewish in those days. But I still am one of those people who considers almost all policies based upon whether or not it's good for Israel and good for the Jews.
Okay, any reflections on this reunion that we've just almost completed? We're having our banquet tonight. Any reflections come to mind?
I think that it's really been a marvelous affair for really everybody. It's been extremely pleasant to meet and relax with and get to know all of our cousins, and in my case, even some of my siblings, and my cousins' children, and to see the generations growing and surviving has been really very exciting and very memorable, and I'm sure we're all going to remember this as really one of the high spots of the year, and maybe even our family lives, because I would suspect that we'll all be much more family oriented than we were prior to this occasion.
Okay, can you think of anything that you would like to say to the next family reunion that might happen 3 or 4 years down the road that you would like to see come across on probably a 12-foot screen next time as we project these films next year, next reunion, I mean?
That's a good question. Wow, if it's
That's hard to put yourself in that.
Well, if it's funny. I'm thinking if it's let's say it's 5 years from now, and I've got kids who are 19 and 20. And despite the fact that I've told them each that they shouldn't look at boys till they're 25, why I suspect that one of them might be
encumbered,
might be married, and begin really stepping out onto life on their own. And I would just hope that we're all conscious of the fact that we come from a real good family, and we're related to a bunch of really nice people, and therefore we should try to carry on that tradition from generation to generation. I was kidding about nobody being in jail right now, and hopefully none of us will ever be anything but useful, happy, constructive kinds of people.
Well, that sounds pretty good, Jerry. I wish I'd have said those things. And when I get interviewed, I think I will. So, thank you, Jerry Gottesman.
You're welcome, Bud Gottesman. You ready, Johnny?
Go ahead, Jerry.
Take one.
Take one.
We have a very handsome young man in front of the camera here today, and lo and behold, he's a Gottesman. Am I recording okay?
Yes.
And his name is?
John Gottesman.
John Gottesman. Is John short for anything, or is it?
It's John Stewart Gottesman.
How do you spell it?
John. Not Jonathan, John.
John Gottesman. Have you ever... Now, John is not spelled John, is not a name that usually comes with Jewish boys. Is there any special story as to how your parents decided to name you
No.
John? They just liked the name, huh?
They liked the name, and it was John, John, not Jonathan, because my parents at the time, and I still believe so, do not care for Jonathan.
I see. Okay.
Not taking anything away from Jonathan,
Okay. How old are you now, John?
22.
22. Okay. Um, you have, who are your parents?
Morton and Alice.
Morton and Alice, okay. And who are your siblings?
Gary and Nancy and Rick.
Right. Tell us a little bit about them in ascending order. Start with Nancy.
Okay. Well, Nancy's 16. She got this whole reunion off on a good start and basically arranged everything. And my mother gave her the little push, and I guess Nancy gave my mom the little push to get everything moving. And they both put everything all together for all the Gottesmans that are here to make everything a success. From what I've seen, I believe it's worked out pretty well, and I'm glad that I was part of it.
In ascending order, are you the next sibling, or is
Gary would be the next sibling.
Gary would be the next sibling.
Gary is my twin.
And you
Gary is 3 minutes younger, and he flew in from Boston. I don't know whether he mentioned it when he was interviewed, but he's working at the Harvard Medical School for a year, and then he's going on to medical school. And then I was next in line. And
are there any other twins in the Gottesman family that you know of?
Not that I know of, but supposedly from what I've heard, years ago, I don't know how many generations back there were other twins.
Are twins, is the genetics of twins carried in the mother or in the father?
I don't have the slightest idea.
Okay. I think that they're carried in the mother, if I'm not mistaken.
I really don't know.
Okay. And then after Gary comes you.
Me.
Okay, and you're 22.
I'm 22, and I graduated from the University of Michigan this past May. Decided to take some time off before I went on to grad school. And right now I'm working for a company called Croy Incorporated, K-R-O-Y, and basically enjoying it. I don't love it, but it's a job.
Okay.
Next subject.
What kind of grad school are you thinking about going to?
Right now, in the direction of law school.
You think you'd like to be a lawyer?
I think I'd like the education. I don't know how much I want to practice. Only time will tell.
Your dad's a lawyer. Is he trying to encourage you or discourage you from the law?
No, he's let basically all of us at one time or another feel everything out and basically go in the directions that we wanted to go in. We haven't been steered any which way or pushed in any direction. We've all, I guess, been fortunate enough to experience a lot of different things in life. And it's been definitely worthwhile growing up in that environment to see the different areas that are available to youngsters growing up, coming out of high school and then continuing with college to see what they can and will do with their life.
Are you thinking about an alternate possibility of business school or some other professional school?
I've thought about business school, but as far as going to business school, I don't think you need business school or the business background to go into business. And I think law school, from other individuals that I've talked to, would be more advantageous for my own personal background, and then taking that education and going into business myself, of what I don't know yet.
Okay, tell us about your brother Rick. I didn't know him, and I don't know much about him.
Rick was killed in an automobile accident about 5 years ago in Colorado. He was 21. He also, like Gary, had attended Harvard University and was very athletically inclined as well as academically. I guess you could have called him the all-American boy. And I respected him, and growing up in his footsteps, it wasn't difficult in the sense, but everybody had always expected Gary and I to more or less fulfill all the expectations that and different things that he had accomplished that we were supposed to do as well or surpass what he had done. And I think we've done as well. And both learned a lot from him. And I guess we can all say we miss him. And it's just something that you have to live with and go on from there. And there's nothing that we can really do. I'll stop there.
Rick must have been really quite a guy from what I've heard about him. But all of the Gottesmans that we've talked about have been, in their own way, quite some people. Does that give you any particular feeling of responsibility, Johnny? Does that?
Well, I think from my own family, I guess learning it from my parents and the Gottesmans that I guess were in the direct area as far as being in Detroit, because I hadn't met the East, the New York and New Jersey Gottesmans really until several years ago. I felt that we were part of a great family, and including the West Coast Gottesmans. And after meeting everybody from the East Coast, I was sort of, I guess I wasn't upset, but I was thrilled that we finally got together and got to meet each other to find out what other relatives did exist and to find out what their families were like. And I found that I not only have enjoyed meeting them, but I hope to continue and better the relationships that have basically started several years ago and that are really, I guess, hopefully getting more or less started right now at this reunion. And hopefully everybody will want to return, and hopefully a very short time in some other location. Because of the weather here, not everybody has been so satisfied. And the individuals that did not get to come, hopefully they'll join us and be part of it.
What do you think about Bahamas in February?
I think it's a great idea. Anytime in the winter months, if anybody wants to go south, just let me know.
Okay, where do you think you'll be 5 years from now, John?
I don't have the slightest idea. I could say I'd like to be doing something on my own, but I think there's a lot more that I have to learn, and I really don't know where I'm going to be. Hopefully I'll be done with law school or some other type of graduate work, and out in the world starting to make it on my own.
Do you have any other comments that you'd like to make about being a Gottesman and being part of this group?
I just think it's a fantastic experience.
How many more generations do you think it'll be before we have a Gottesman president of the United States?
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Okay.
Unless for some reason it's a Gottesman that isn't Jewish.
You think that's really a drawback, huh?
Definitely. In running for office, it's definitely a drawback. Now, maybe Nancy would like to, try it and get there. She's got definitely has the aspirations of, making it, and we'll see what she does with it.
We did talk about Nancy. We
Yeah.
started with Nancy.
Yeah.
We started with
Okay.
Nancy.
We must start with Nancy. Okay.
That is so refreshing to hear a brother talk so glowingly of his baby sister.
She's not a baby anymore.
Well, but to you, she's
Sorry,
always a baby.
Nance. You'll always be my baby, I guess, and Mom and Dad's baby. But,
I should have said
you're
younger.
growing up. What can I say?
I can say younger and get away with it, can't I?
Right.
She'll always appreciate that. 20 years from now, she'd appreciate being younger Nancy.
That's right.
Younger sister Nancy. Well, do you have any other further words before we conclude?
I think that's about it.
Okay.
I'd just like to thank Bud for taking the time and putting all this together. I think it was one hell of an idea.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have in front of the camera today Mr. TV himself,
Why aren't I holding my head straight?
Bud Gottesman. Bud is the one responsible for putting everybody onto TV and recording these events, and it's only fitting that we interview him and get his reactions. Bud,
Yes?
you are the son of
here.
whom?
I'm the son of Bill Gottesman, sometimes known as Willie,
And?
and Jenny Gottesman, who used to be a Medvedov.
And,
Nobody's ever mentioned what their mother's maiden names were.
no, we'll have to go back and do that, because otherwise...
Next reunion, we'll have to make a very serious point of that.
Okay, now, Bill was the second Gottesman's son. When were you born, Bud?
I was born 7/7/27.
1927.
7 pounds, 7 ounces, on the 7th day of the week.
Wow, that is a...
My lucky number's 4.
As you can tell, future generations, Bud has a history of and a reputation in the family for being both pleasant and funny and clever.
And good and bad.
Oh. We'll have to interview Elaine, at least Elaine, on that subject. You have a sibling who isn't at this convention. Tell us a little bit about her.
Well, BB
What's
Moss.
BB's given name?
Her name is actually BB. Like my name is actually Bud. However, we had some problems with the birth certificates because the doctor in attendance was my mother's cousin, who refused to take the directions of my mother as far as the kids' names were concerned. So, being as at that time the doctors did write the names down for the birth certificates, for the records for the hospital, Dr. Joe picked Burton as my legal name without consulting my mother, and picked Beatrice for my sister's name also without consulting my mother.
Did she pay the bill? Or he was a cousin, so he probably didn't send a bill.
No, he sent the bill. This doctor he was a doctor first, a relative second. And the bills came in
doctors are.
very
Is that
fast.
why he's not at this reunion?
Well, he's gone. He's gone. So he didn't. He was not able to show up. And besides, he was on the wrong side of the family. He couldn't have come anyway.
Right. Okay, so
Kindly Dr. Joe.
that's and your sister is married to Leonard Moss.
Leonard Moss, the famous anthropologist and sociologist, who is going to be at the next reunion if I have to drag him.
Okay.
And so are my other 2 daughters going to be at the next reunion. I firmly hope that they will all make it. This time the other two daughters couldn't come because Kim's husband Ted had to start school Monday. That was the first day of the reunion, and he's in law school. I believe he's somewhere around his 3rd year in law school. And then Nikki is working for the Sheraton Hotel in Florida, and she has a very high-pressure job. She had just taken off for Kim's wedding and found that it was very difficult to take off additional time to come to this reunion. She does seem to keep herself very, very busy and is an extremely essential employee of the hotel.
And the daughters that are here are whom, Bud?
Well, in attendance we have Mindy Reed and her husband Terry. Dana was a little bit too small to bring to the reunion and a little bit too large with mouth. No, she's going through a difficult age, and Mindy really wanted to have a little break. But she'll be at the next reunion. And the other daughter in attendance is Sim, the acupuncturist and penal educator. He's embarking on a new career as an acupuncturist, and she is here. And I might add that they're both enjoying the reunion very much, as we all are.
Okay. Now I know how hard it is to be one of those guys that shoves a microphone in people's faces on television.
I would like to say something that no one has come up with yet, and I've been kind of holding it aside, and I've not been feeding it to anyone because I wanted to use the line myself, about the feelings of this reunion. I think it's a tremendous privilege and a kind of a good feeling of belonging, the feeling of belonging that I think everyone really wanted for many, many years, and we really couldn't grab onto it. And I feel it very keenly right now that I belong to this family, and I have people that care about me and are interested.
My father used to say that you should love your brothers and sisters. That was really one of his most important things in his life. As a matter of fact, on his tombstone, I put a quotation to that effect. Did your father try to instill that kind of feeling? Was there any kind of special Gottesman family feeling that your dad tried to imply?
No, I would have to say that my father was a little bit lax in that department. Dad was kind of quiet. He had very little to say, especially in his later years. In his earlier years, up until I was about 15 or so, he was a very warm, affectionate, gregarious kind of a guy. But in later years, with mounting business problems and worries, he became a rather quiet man and had very little to say to us, really.
Tell us about your mother. She's passed away some years ago, but she was one of the more unforgettable people that many of us have ever met. And although this is a Gottesman convention, why Jenny Medvedoff was really a very unusual person. Why don't you tell us a little bit about her?
Well, she was a true appreciator of art, nature, and humankind. I think she was a fabulous person in spite of the fact that she was my mother. She might have been a little overbearing at times in her role, but I think I was very privileged to have her as a mother and have some of her genes, some of her ideals that kind of stuck with me.
Would you, there's an expression that will probably survive for many generations and reunions beyond, called the balabusta. My impression of Jenny was that she was the ultimate balabusta. Is that a fair statement, or am I?
I think that's fairly accurate. She was not an intensely strong person physically, but she had a way of manipulating people so that they didn't know that they were manipulated. She was the iron fist in the velvet glove. She had womanly wiles that no one has today.
It seems to me that one of the nicest, or one of the things that I remember about your house and about your mother was that there was a great feeling of warmth. People were always genuinely felt welcome in the house. It wasn't even a matter of politeness. It was a matter of genuine warmth. Am I describing her accurately in that regard?
A very good description. She loved people. She had many parties. She would search to the end of the earth to find an occasion to have a party or to have someone come over and make it very important. She was a very warm person, very clever, very articulate. She was a writer. She was a poet. She was an artist of sorts.
How much education did your mother have?
I believe she had 2 years of college. I don't think that she graduated college. I am not really sure. But in the College of Hard Knocks, I think she had a very good, secure, rounded education.
Where did your father meet your mother?
I believe they met in New York City. Dad was a friend of a cousin of theirs, Cy Ehrman. And when Dad got out of the Army, he went to Detroit because my mother and her parents had moved to New York along with the other two girls. And he came to visit. I think he stayed with them for a while. He went into business in Detroit, and my mother went to work for him. She was his secretary. It was a man and woman organization, two-person shop. And his first shop was in the back of a shoemaker's store. And from there it developed into the Monica Plumbing and Heating on Fenkel and Monica. And your father, Jerry, came to work with Dad at that point because there was more work in Detroit than there was in New Jersey. And the two of them built the business. Not your father came, and then Harry's the one that
I
really,
see.
your father was there also.
My father was in Detroit there
I'm almost
also?
positive he
Is that
was.
right? Well, that's part of
But not for long. I guess he found other things to do and went back and became a big manufacturer. And then Morton's father stayed on, but I believe at the time that they coined the word Gottesman Brothers, the three of them were in it.
Is that right? Well, I didn't know that.
Did
Did they ever have an entity known as Gottesman Brothers?
Oh yeah, it was Gottesman Brothers for many, many years.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah.
I once suggested to my father that we name our business Joseph Gottesman and Sons, and in a way I'm sorry we didn't, because his eyes lit up when I suggested it, but then of course we didn't do it, and he never brought it up again. But I guess there's a great deal of pride in the name Gottesman, which I don't suppose anybody really has kept in his business except Mort Gottesman. Like lawyers have their name and they practice under their name.
Well, when I had my manufacturers representing firm in Phoenix, I was Gottesman and Associates, so I did my bit to publicize the name.
Good. Tell us a little bit about your grandmother, because I have memories of her. She was an integral part of your household, and through the
Yes.
generations, the memories of Mrs. Medvedoff will die, and I don't think we should let them die. So tell us a little bit about your
Well,
grandmother.
I think she was a very unusual woman. When I was born, I think from the day I first noticed her to the day that she died, I don't think she aged at all. She was always a grandmother. And in the true sense of the word, grandmother, she was just warm and affectionate, wonderful, all giving. And she was a very learned woman, too. She had the capacity to put herself on anyone's level that she talked to. I remember that she proofread Leonard's doctoral thesis and gave him some very pertinent criticisms on it. And yet she spoke with an accent and she wrote with an accent. It was very unusual to see her writing, because she would spell phonetically and you could read it in an accent. And when she first heard herself on a tape recorder, her comment was, "Who's that Maki that's talking there?"
She was quite an unusual woman. Did she live with you all? I never remember a time visiting you when she wasn't living there. Did she live with you all of her life? Well, all of your life?
Well, from probably when I was, let's see, I had to have been about 13. From the time I was 13, she lived with us the rest of her life, yes.
Your grandfather, was he alive when you were very young?
Oh, yes. He and I were very good friends. He was probably my best friend when I was a kid. And I think I have a lot of his values.
I don't remember. I do remember him, but only very little. He must have died some years ahead of Grandma Medvedev.
Died right following the war, I believe. Died, I believe, at about 47. 46, 47. And he was a very interesting man. He ran away from Russia to avoid the conscription, because the Tsar wanted to put everybody in uniform and fight in China. And he ran away to South America and became a gaucho. and spoke nothing but Russian until he got to South America, but he quickly learned how to swear in Spanish, and used to herd the cows, and he did some very interesting things in his childhood. Returned to Russia after the emergency in the war was over, met and married my grandmother, who was, I believe, about 14 or 15 years old at the time. They had 3 kids, and then moved to this country with 3 kids, had a 4th one here.
Just as we've made Jimmy and Sally Katz honorary Gottesmans, I somehow think that posthumously your grandparents have to be honorary Gottesmans as well.
Well, thank you very much.
They were really wonderful people. I have to tell you one story that I remember about your mother, and I tell it to you only because I think of her often. Because the generations repeat themselves as we're all getting old enough to be to know. And I was visiting your house, and I guess I must have been 12 or 13 or something like that, and I had a headache, and I don't remember whether I took aspirins or not, but I mentioned to your mother that I had a headache, and she said, "Come here, Jerry," and I lay down on the couch, and she started rubbing the back of my neck, and between the aspirins and her rubbing the back of my neck, instantaneously my headache was gone. And I often now, when my own kids complain about a headache or something like that, I rub the back of their neck, and I cannot help but think of your mother when I do that. So her warmth and her instincts are living on in my memories, at least.
Appreciate that.
The
Makes me feel pretty lucky.
She was really a very unusual, very, my mother loved her, and my father, one of the things that my mother and father agreed on was that Jenny was a wonderful woman.
It's kind of interesting.
Getting back to more current times, Bud, you carried on your dad's plumbing business for a while. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well,
Tell us about
didn't have much choice. I did carry it on, ran it right into the ground. No, I carried it on. It's been good to me, and we're now in the bowling business. Have Sylvan Lanes and Kego Harbor, Kego Tucky if you prefer, and that's up for sale now. And then we're gonna do something else. Don't know quite what yet.
At one time you were the world's leading. My father used to tell me that you had a greater inventory of parts for faucets than any other place in the United States. Tell us about that.
That is true. Yeah, when we specialized in faucet parts, we were good. Yep. And I've checked out the hotel here. You're on. Talk.
Hi,
What is your name?
I'm Mark Gottesman, the oldest son of Harvey Gottesman, who's the oldest son of Harry Gottesman, who is the oldest son of Morris Gottesman.
That's great genealogy.
I think I'm supposed to be interviewed by
Yeah.
Harry Kifferstein.
Go ahead, Harry. Ask some questions. Nice and loud.
Mark Gottesman.
Yes, Harry.
Carried away.
You know, it's in the Jewish religion, it's the desire of every parent to see kindred. What's your thoughts on this matter?
Quiet. In 1985, we'll have a surprise for everybody.
Well, what do you mean by everybody? You going to surprise the family, or you going to surprise your parents?
Them too.
Harvey and Adele, and your brothers.
And
How
my
are you
cousin.
going to surprise them with what? A trip to
Well, if
Israel?
I told you, Harry, it wouldn't be a surprise.
Can't you give us an inkling?
Not an inkling.
You got anything roughed in now?
Yes.
Oh, that's think about that a little bit, didn't you? Uh, let's see, you stumped me with that one. You spoiled my train of thought.
Thank you, Harry. In just a second, I'm going to start interviewing you, and just so you can come up with a question.
Okay, I'll let you interview me for a while until I come up with something.
As I recall the genealogical chart, you're the oldest of the Gottesmen in your generation.
I'll have to think about that. Possibly so.
You were Hannah's oldest child, and Hannah was really Morris's firstborn, and you're older than Harvey Gottesman, so you would be the oldest living Gottesman in your generation. And because of that, I think you should be able to come up with a good question for me.
That's right. I'm concerned about you, like your mother and dad. And I'd like to know when you're really going to get serious and settle down, quit playing the field. That's, otherwise you're a great guy.
Is that a question?
Yeah, I put it as a question, yes.
Well, I'm looking forward to 1985.
Why 1985?
Because that's the next reunion, and I'll get to see this. Maybe I'll have either more gray hair. Thank you, buddy.
I didn't shoot him, by the way. That wasn't.
Looks like gold.
Mark, why do you have to wait till 1985? That's 3 years away.
Because that's when the next reunion's going to be.
In other words, you won't commit yourself. Is that the deal? You're not committed.
I'm committing myself to being here or wherever we meet in 1985.
I can't privately say to your father that, you're going to bring home a package or something.
We got 10 seconds?
10 seconds.
He's given us 10 seconds.
10-second warning.
All right. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in 1985, and it's really going to be exciting to see this. And I had a terrific
Could have another
time.
10 seconds.
And I want to say this, that it was just delightful seeing all my cousins. I didn't realize how nice they were.
How about me?
Well, you I know.
Thank you very
But a lot
much,
of cousins
Mark.
from the East I didn't know, and even some from Detroit I didn't know, and it was really very, very rewarding.
That goes for me, too, in spades.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay, who do we have sitting here now? Look over there, though. Your name, what is your name, young lady?
My name is Arlene Gottesman Rapp.
Good. And in the middle, we have a quarterback,
Ted Rapp.
Ted Rapp. And who is the young man on your right?
Jonathan Rapp.
You must all be related.
There's a certain family resemblance.
Okay, where did you folks come in from?
Where were we from?
Where were you last? Where were you last before you came to Mackinac Island?
New York City.
Okay,
I want to tell you about the great event in my life.
please.
21 years ago, I met Arlene Gottesman and married into the Gottesman family.
Your life was never.
Since then, I've tried to do a few other things like bringing up Lisa Gottesman Rapp and Jonathan Gottesman Rapp. These have been the chief events of my life. In between, I've tried to organize an exhibition or two, write a few books, supervise a couple of dissertations, but that was mainly in my spare time. The main things I did were the ones I've just mentioned.
Thank you very much, Ted.
Oh, he also brought up 2 cats. We also
Okay, we're on you now, Arlene, so speak away.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I must say
Louder.
that I really enjoyed when I was a kid going to Detroit. That was a big event in my life.
Quiet down.
And the Grand Hotel is a poor substitute for my trips to visit Bud and BB and Morton and Harvey when we were young. But this has been a good substitute, and I'm just delighted that everybody's come and that we've had such a fun time together. And I'm looking forward to next time.
Beautiful. So you didn't need anyone to help you interview. Okay, Jonathan, you've got the spotlight.
Okay, I'm glad to be here also, and I guess when I see this, I'll be in college 3 years from now. And I've enjoyed meeting all these relatives I didn't know I had. Hope to keep in touch with some of them.
You know them all now?
Some of them.
Well, the feeling is mutual because everyone was very happy to meet you too. Well, thank you very, very
And
much.
thank you, Bud, for doing such a terrific job.
That's when the sound comes on?
Now you're right now. Okay, we now have in our camera, try to look at the lens though. We have Harold and Bobby Gottesman from some kind of oranges in New Jersey. What kind of oranges are they?
West oranges.
West oranges. Are they any different than East oranges?
Sure.
West of East.
I see. I know you have a very beautiful home. We have some movies of your pool in the first part on this reel.
Right.
But what do you do for a living, sir?
Buddy, you know the answer to that. I'm in the parking business.
Oh!
We park cars.
I see. Okay. And 3 years from now, when we convene for the next convention, what are you going to be doing then?
Parking cars.
Parking cars. In all probability, we'll be doing the same thing.
You must wear out a lot of pants sliding in and out of cars.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, who did you bring with you this time to this convention?
You want to answer
We
that?
brought
This
our
bust.
daughter Ellen with her husband Larry, their baby Trudy, and our 12-year-old son.
Okay, you'd have to speak up just a little bit louder. The background noise is coming up again. Can you think what you might like to say that you'd like to hear on this tape in 1985 when you see it at the next reunion? Be 3 years of water under the dam. What would you like to have yourself say on the screen?
That I would be as happy to be back in 3 years as I was to be here now, and that hopefully my other daughter and her husband will be here then too. And I do not have any cousins, aunts, or uncles, so a family meeting like this was really a revelation of a sort for me.
Harold, what did you think of the reunion?
I really thought it was great.
In what respect? What part did you like the best?
Well, you know, as you and I and all of us in our generation know, we were in a very divided and fragmented family. And to get all of these people together again with this warm feeling that we've seen here these last couple of days was really an unbelievable experience. And if we drop the ball now, why we have no one to blame but ourselves, we can certainly keep this up and have these reunions.
I agree 100%. We got to keep it going.
That's right.
In fact, here comes Andrew.
Here comes
Oh,
Andrew.
good. Let's, Andrew,
Come on
get
in.
right in between your mother and dad there.
You can say a few
Squeeze
more
in real
words.
close so I can get all three of you in there. That's it.
Would you like to say
Okay.
something before we go upstairs and pack? No?
How old are you going to be in 1985, 3 years from now?
15.
15.
Wow. You going to drive your folks down for the next convention? Or reunion?
No.
You might.
Because you have to be 17 in New Jersey.
Oh. Okay. Well, thank you folks very, very much.
Thank you, Bud, for everything you've done.
My pleasure.
Hello, I am Bob Gottesman, great grandson of Morris Gottesman, who begot Harry Gottesman, who begot Harvey Gottesman, Harvey who begot myself, and with my mother's help here, Adele, and I begat Eric you don't see. However, this young lady helped me beget Eric, and I only hope that in the 21st century, when Eric is older, rich and famous, that he lives a rich, prosperous life, and we haven't blown ourselves up in some sort of nuclear holocaust. That's all I have to say.
And we can still be getting together
Okay,
for
Mother.
Gottesman reunions. We had a wonderful time. It was great seeing everybody.
Can I say something, sweetheart?
Hey,
This
Jane?
is the first chance that I have had to really meet this whole wonderful family on such a happy occasion.
And I hope and look forward to many more occasions like this.
Thank you very much. That was short, sweet, and right to the point.
That's what they say.
Right now, what it is exactly that you're interested in, Bud? What,
Well, we'd
my
like to know.
thoughts about the reunion? Is that,
Sure. What is your name first?
my name is Morton Gottesman. Everybody knows that.
Not everybody. uh, really, what I would like is what you would like to see on the screen in 2 years from now.
As far as what I'd like to see on the screen in 3 years, I would like to be able to see my picture in 3 years.
You're the first one that said that?
And I think I'm really more interested in what the others have to say, probably, than what I have to say. No great words for the great moment.
Okay. Now, if this tape is going to be sent around to different homes of family members, they would be interested in what you do for a living and how you do it, what your thoughts are.
I'm an attorney. I hope I do it fairly well. And
You work in
I'm
a
more
large
interested,
office.
frankly, in speaking about what I feel about the reunion. And
Fine.
my thoughts as to why I think it's important. Don't walk off, Bud. But I can't speak if you're not here.
You can, Mort.
No.
Tell me to the camera. You gotta feel like you're talking to a person. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No,
What are
really,
your
but-
feelings about the reunion and how it has changed?
Well, I
Feelings
think
about the
everybody's, I
family?
really feel the union is important not because of our generation, but because of the younger generation, for the children to get to know each other and hopefully to keep up a continuing relationship under the great guidance of Jerry Gottesman, who will handle the reunion 3 years from now.
Yeah, I overheard that he's appointed the new coordinator. Is that correct?
Yes, we feel it's in very good hands.
Okay. Thank you, Martin.
All right.
We're going to fade to black. If I can find a button. There's a button.
Never say black.
Your name, young lady, is?
My name is Alice Jean Harris Gottesman.
What a long name for such a small lady.
I wish that was true.
What is your views on El Salvador? No, I mean...
No views on El Salvador.
No comment.
No comment.
Okay. What do you think of the reunion so far?
I think the reunion's been terrific. I think if everyone has told us their true feelings about it, they all feel it was well worth their time spent in coming and planning for the reunion and being together and sharing the days that we've had together. Everyone seems to have mingled very well and very happy that they've had some time to see their cousins again after a long period of time in some cases.
Now, can you picture this scene being flashed on the screen in 1985?
I hope so. I hope so. I want to be there to see it.
And what would you like yourself to be saying then?
But I think it's terrific we're doing it again. I think we're a great bunch of people. I think people are very adaptable in this group and a pleasure to be with.
Good. This is probably going to be the last interview on this tape. So I'm going to have to leave it up to you to sign off with some very wise remark. Only lean back in the chair because you're out of focus.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Good job, Mom. This proves the last 3 days have been a blur.
No, the last 3 days have just been something that certainly will be memorable for our children, particularly Nancy, who I feel fulfilled an ambition that she had to get this family together, all together in one place for this reunion. And I think we're terribly proud of her because she followed through so well. She did ask for advice now and then, but her own ideas were thoughtful and carefully planned, and I think executed very well. And hopefully we'll do it again soon so that we can have some more interviews and everyone can appear on camera and say, hey, we've had a hell of a time. Thanks.
Fantastic. Okay, we got one more interview. I forgot. My daughter Sim has it.
Good. Thank you.
We have with us now our resident television aide and teacher, acupuncturist, and woman about town, Miss Sim Gottesman. Sim?
Why don't you come sit down and interview me?
Well, because if I do, you won't look at the camera then.
No? Yeah, we know, Mom.
We're going to get this over here.
Okay. What can I say? You were going to ask me questions, so you would make this easy for me, Dad.
Yes.
And I promise to look at the camera.
Where do you live now?
Come and sit down over here if you want.
Where do you live?
Right now, I still live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I flew in for this special occasion. Yes, I'm going to talk up there. And that's where I am right now.
And how old are you?
I forgot. Do I have to tell you how old I am?
No, you don't have to. Are you?
I'm 28. So for my next reunion, yes, I'll be older.
Make those funny faces so they can see me in the glass.
See you in the glass.
No.
Right. No, you can't see the glass. Reflection back here behind me. Okay. So can you ask me another question, Dad? I'll pretend like
Your job right now, you're in between jobs, but tell us about your last job that you had.
about my job. Usually I tell people that I work in the only maximum security prison in the state of Florida. And people ask me, well, why are you working at a prison? And I tell them that I'm protecting them.
You're on, Don.
Hello, ancestors. I thought I'd like to start off with a light, airy tune for you. I'm all alone. Life is a bore. My dirty clothes are lying in a pile on the floor. Since I left my baby drowning in the Hudson Bay. Yeah, yeah. There's nobody home to fix me tea. No one left at home to readjust the TV. Since I left my baby drowning in the Hudson Bay. Hey, everybody! Oh, she stood up. I pushed her in. How was I to know she didn't know how to swim? Oh, no. Down she sank like an alabaster fish to the bottom of the tank. So I sold her car. I sold her kid. I'm trying to forget the stupid thing that I did. Since I left my baby drowning in the Hudson. Since I left my baby drowning in the Hudson. Since I left my baby drowning in the Hudson. Drowning in the Hudson. Drowning in the Hudson Bay.
What'd you have a song to sing about Dad?
Bye, guys. That's enough for tonight. Hey, what's that tape? I don't want my ancestors to think I'm a jerk.
Jimmy, just stand there. Huh? Stand there. Will you sing? Come on, Gary. What are you singing?
I'm wild again.
Wild again.
Beguiled again.
Beguiled again.
A simpering, whimpering child again.
Bewitched.
I'm not doing this. Okay.
I'm not doing it.
We're on tape.
I know.
Oh, I didn't know that. Would anybody like to take a crack at singing as long as you're going to be recorded for posterity? This might be your only chance.
Johnny.
I think some of the younger ones, may I address this?
What about Morris and Boris?
I would hello again.
We only have one verse.
Hello again, ancestors.
You're the ancestor.
Oh, hello again, descendants. I would like to address this particularly to your young ancestors, descendants. Some of you should be able to sing for your grandchildren. They might want to hear what grandma sounded like, or great-grandma.
They wouldn't want to hear what this grandma sounds.
Right. Well, Alice, would you have any favorite songs you like to sing?
Ronnie, don't start on a Gottesman anthem.
Well, we so far, Johnny and I have written. First there was Morris. And I hope I don't bore us with the rest of the family tree. There was Hannah and Harry, and Harry had Harvey. That's as far as I've gotten. I know some old songs for any of you. And Harvey had me. I don't know anymore. Okay.
Donnie, sing Take a Look Around, whatever that song was.
Rather my toes fall off first.
Sing Hinkley. Sing Hinkley. How about the Canary song?
Why can't somebody? I'd like to.
I
sing for somebody. I feel uncomfortable.
You sing the Harry Canary?
I knew the words.
The Harry Canary?
No.
Okay, sing Harry Canary.
Do the Hinkley song. That's good.
Do the Hinkley song.
Okay, I'll sing this one. I don't know how it happened, and I don't know how it started. It's so hard to understand. So come on, pretty poopsie. Come on, pretty cuddle. Why can't we be lovers after all we planned? Let's make up, sweetheart. We can't be apart. Don't let foolish pride keep you from my side. Everybody knows you left me, Alice. It's the talk of the town. Our friends and relations sent out invitations announcing our wedding day. But our friends and relations sent congratulations. Now how can I face them? What can I say? So, let's make up, sweetheart. We can't be apart. Don't let foolish pride keep you from my side. Everybody knows you left me, Alice, 'cause it's the talk of the town.
Let's do Hinkley once so you can get it on tape. Just save it.
Cut that off.
Come on. Yeah, Alice hasn't heard Hinkley.
Bye, guys.
Okay, well,
Can I have a little, Gary, can you give me a little harmony?
Sure.
Come on, we'll all come stand by.
I remember it.
Well,
I'll come by and get a little harmony.
Okay.
Oh, come on, I want to get in the picture. I don't care about singing. I just want to read a picture.
Down by the old mill street. I like to say hello again.
Oh, Arthur.
First
Oh, we got it. On either side of the
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it right.
I'd like to say hello again to my descendants. I rarely give introductions to songs, but seeing as how some of you might be hearing this in the year 2040, it might not make sense to you.
Nancy?
In 1982, our President Reagan was shot at by a guy named Hinckley. He was a Nazi, and he shot him because he was in love with Jodie Foster, a movie star. I know it doesn't make sense to you now, but in 1982 it didn't make
sense to them
right.
either.
Okay. So this is a song about Hinckley, Foster, and Reagan. Behind me are my cousins.
Hi, brother.
And sisters.
Your ancestors. Your ancestors.
Are you ready, guys?
Wave to the camera, everybody.
Take it away.
Good.
It was your typical love triangle. The kind you hear about at your local bar. It was your typical love triangle. The president, the Nazi, and the movie star. Well, the Nazi saw her one day pretty and he was captured by her charms. And he saw her one day at the movies, and he knew there was room for only one man in her arms. Well, he thought he had a rival in Washington, D.C., so he wrote her a letter saying it's either him or me. Well, he waited patiently for her answer. Now, but much to his surprise, she sent him none. So he packed a gun and he headed for the airport, bought a one-way ticket to Washington. Well, he shot him as he headed for the Secret Service car. The president, the Nazi, and the movie star. And as they took him away, he said, "Don't leave me, Jody. I've loved you for so long. Don't leave me for a spot on the White House lawn." Now I know that this story ain't too unusual. Hell, it's an age-old thing, happens every day all around the world. But ain't none of us here too dumb or too stupid to learn something from it. And that's that a feller's gonna get mighty mad if he thinks the president's after his girl. Don't leave me, Jody, I've loved you for so long. Don't leave me for a spot on the White House lawn. What a typical love triangle, the kind you hear about at your local bar. It was your typical love triangle, the president, the Nazi, and the movie star.
Bye, guys. I'd like to thank Donnie for that beautiful piece.
Piece of what?
Hear that song? All your friends will say, "Who wrote that crazy song?" I don't know. That's a great way to start off.
Okay, Eric.
Eric,
I want you
work
to
on
tell
your
me
button.
what your name is. Can you say your own name?
What's your name, Eric? What's your name? Eric. Eric what? Eric Gottesman.
I heard that clear as day. And how old are you, Eric?
What are you almost, Eric? You're almost 2. You're almost 2. Not quite, but you're getting there. You sit back in the chair, because you're gonna be famous when you see this. Yeah.
Okay, at the next reunion, what are you going to be bringing with you?
He might be bringing maybe a little brother and a sister.
Don't let Paula hear this.
No, look there. Okay, watch this. Eric, what's the name of your grandmother's and your grandfather? What is it? Okay, you're gonna go home. Look in the camera. Look at the camera. Oh my goodness.
Look over here.
Look at that blinking light.
Can you back it up? Because Adele's going to bring Harvey in. They may not get a chance to see Donnie on tape with everybody singing. I'm sure
Oh,
they'd
yeah,
like to
sure.
see that little shtick.
Eric,
Because they've gone to bed.
Eric, look over there
And who knows when
and
James said that, though.
tell the camera about the grandma. What's your grandma's name? Grandma what? Grandma Adele. Okay, then who else do we have? Because Grandma Adele, what's your grandfather's name? Grandpa who? Grandpa who? Grandpa Harvey. Say Grandpa Harvey. Eric. You have to wave over there. Wave over there.
Show him the flashlight.
Wave over there.
Okay.
Say hi. Say hi, buddy.
Remember this?
Hi, buddy. Eric was born on Halloween, and Eric is one of the youngest Gottesmans. Not the youngest, but one of the youngest, because the Kiffersteins had a little baby pretty soon.
70.
And in 20 years from now, 25 years from now, Eric will be on the other side of the camera doing the interviews. Yes. Well, things aren't that rough. I guarantee you the people will get out of Beirut. I promise, Eric.
Eric, say I've had enough of this.
Okay, say bye-bye, Uncle Buddy. Here, turn around. Say bye-bye, Uncle Buddy. Say bye-bye, Uncle Buddy.
Bye-bye, Uncle Buddy.
Okay.
Oh, that was clear as a bell.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you
That's
very
it.
much.
Can I have a hug and a kiss? Can I have a hug and a kiss?
She got lots of hair from Prell. Lots of fullness, lots of thickness, lots of hair from Prell. Goodbye limp, goodbye flat, got lots of this and lots of that. Got lots of hair from Prell.
A little Prell leaves you looking like you got